On this episode, what Dad thought and felt all of his heart was this big. What he said was that big and it pissed you off. But guess what? You're the Titanic and this is the iceberg. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 125 of the Ask Jason Show. Today, I would like to talk about a situation that was just brought to me by somebody who wants to buy a house. She is a young professional, single woman who lived a great deal of her life away from here, but not that long ago relocated and is now looking to purchase. The majority of the people that are close to her are family. The family wants to have a big part of the search process and viewing the houses, and the negotiation process, and the inspection process, and all those sort of things. So, this conversation is about how when you're buying your first home and you're buying it by yourself, doesn't matter, man, woman, beast, it's irrelevant, like whatever. How do I handle my dad wanting to be all up in my business, and what do I do about it? It came from a cisgendered female, but it applies to anybody. Here's what the general problem is with this, I think. Just imagine you're a young person on your own and you're probably just out of like a long-term committed relationship and you're purchasing your first home. You're going to be living independently, like only you, not independent from your family, but only yourself for the first time. Your family is wanting to be all up in your business about it. Let's zoom out here and think about the motivation behind the communication and the communication styles of different people, what they're intending to do based on their motivation, the intention behind their words, and then the impact of those words versus the intention. Because in my understanding, and this comes from probably, if I had to guess, the amount of deals that I've done with single individuals purchasing a home that their family was like real heavy into, I would say it's got to be at least 30, probably not more than 50 or 60. That seems like a lot. Maybe 30 or 40. Anyway, there's been a bunch of them. Having studied psychology and having been to therapy a lot, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of stuff turns into something when it's nothing, only because of people's specific communication styles and misinterpreting things. Let's look at the motivation. So I'm gonna frame it like there is a young woman who's buying a home and the father is all over it. I'm gonna do it that way for two reasons. One, I'm a dad and I have a daughter and I can see it from his side on account of how I feel about my daughter. And secondly, I'm doing it because this question was brought to me by an individual in just that situation. That's the story I'm telling, but I feel like this would apply to everybody. You're the young woman who's buying the property. You're just out of a whole different lifestyle. You're going full on independent for the first time in your life. You're very eager, you're very excited, you're owning yourself, you're finding your own identity, and you're empowered. You feel powerful, probably the most powerful that you've ever felt. You've been living away and you're coming home, and you've been with your family when you first got there, and now your dad, who had his daughter gone for so long, had her back, and now she's more excited about leaving than anything he's ever seen her be excited about. This is super, super exciting for you, but it's sad and lonely for him. But there's also a pride factor. So he's proud that you're able to do this, because he's like, this is who I raised my daughter to be, and I'm proud of this. He can't help but still have the daddy's little girl heartstrings thing. Him wanting to be a part of this is, in some ways, one of the last big ways to love and protect you that he sees for the rest of your life. Other than having children and being a good grandfather, that's like one of the last big ways to love and protect your daughter, to help her through that process. What you see as control and overbearing and like wanting to manhandle it and mansplain everything to it and look like belittling your ability to make your own decisions when you're empowered more than you've ever been in your life, that's all just poor communication. All he's saying is, I miss you so much, but I'm so proud of you and I want to give everything to you that I possibly can to help this be a good decision, but it does hurt my heart a bit because this is like your first date. This is like when you drove off with your license the first time. This is like when you moved away to go to school. This is like when, like, these are all massive things from a parent, and they just want to give whatever they can. So that's not to say that your feelings about like not having that independence are invalid, because they're not. They're very, very real. Take a moment to translate the words by putting them in the context of the motivation of your parent before you react to them, because he's doing it out of love, right? And support, and a little bit of fear and longing. And if it comes from a good place, and while it's the responsibility of the person to be clear in their communication so that their intention gets across, it's gonna make it worse if you don't take a moment to digest it and think it through. So if you react versus responding, if you react to what he says, now all he feels is more pull away from him. Like, I'm losing her. And what do we do to things that we're losing? We grip them tighter. So you need to accept this for what it is and just have a conversation about it. Like we said in the last episode, no, the one before it. Like, your mom was right. Honesty is the best policy. You gotta tell the truth. There's no upside. So just be like, Dad, I know that this is coming from this place, but I'm really excited about this independence and to do it myself. Can we talk about the parts that you want to be involved in and why? And I'll talk about the parts that I want to do myself and why. And we can do it together as a team, just with defined roles. And now both of our hearts are happy. And here's, episode 1 of the Wishy-Washy Woo-Woo show. But it's so true. It's weird, man. Like, this whole, like, oh, I almost died thing. There's a sentimentality that comes from that experience, especially being a father. And I'm fast forwarding in my head to a million different situations with my daughter, who's like gonna be 9 in a few months. When did that happen? I mean, I know I slept for a while there. Like, I get it, like, but not 9 years. Like, I wasn't in a coma that long. She's like this tall now. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that. If you're buying your first home and your family is involved, that communication dynamic, you need somebody who can translate, because you're speaking 2 different languages. You need somebody who can translate that. Like, when you're rolling your eyes because Dad's pointing at this because he saw it before and he lived through it before, and he knows that it's going to be this or that or the other thing, or he knows that his little girl deserves more and he wants to find a way for her to get more, even if it's out of her budget. You have no idea all of the things he's thinking about. Where can I come up with 20 grand so she can buy the other one? Where can I come up with that? How do I say that right now so that the agent doesn't hear it, because she knows him and trusts him, but I don't really know him. I just met him. And now I know she would love the other one, but it's too much money. How can I come up with that? Okay, I better tell her that there's a problem with this trim so that she don't like this house. I don't know what about this trim. You have no idea everything that goes behind that instantaneous thing. So you need somebody who can help translate that. I think that's kind of enough rambling on for this. Yeah, that's good. So have an agent that you trust to be a part of that thing, because it can get awkward, and just know that he loves you. His words have so much meaning. It's like the Titanic. It's just a little iceberg. Nah, bitch, you doomed. So this is what he said. This is why he said it. And this is all full of head and heart and history and love and protection. This little bit sounds like you can't do it yourself. It's not what he's saying. That's it. And we'll see you next time.
The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, good enough for you.